So tell me about the concrete pour.
Concrete pour in terms of
I don't know, just
what are the steps? How it's
yeah,
going to be
whatever you
laid
want to
out.
talk about.
So normally for the day of the concrete pour, the day before actually we're going to actually add diesel to all the forms. So we add diesel to all the forms to help it release once you pour concrete.
And what type of product is that?
Diesel, just diesel fuel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're either
How
diesel,
does that help?
it creates separation between the wood and the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier for you to strip the forms once you pour. You can either use, they also sell like board release form, but we found that diesel is just more easily accessible, and it's just, you can get it anywhere. So you just spray all the forms from the inside, and then, the day of the pour, we will reserve the front area for the pump. We'll also give it like another 10 feet extra for the actual concrete truck.
And then
we'll set all our
and then
hoses.
in Los Angeles, the batch plant are fixed. They're known, so it's just managing the traffic. And
Yeah, so usually our concrete pumper, he coordinates everything for us. We just tell him, hey, look, we need X amount of yardage. We need to start at 7 and keep it continuous. So each truck usually carries about 9 to 10 yards of concrete. So this one, I think it's going to take 44.
wow,
So it's close to like 4 full trucks.
4 trucks. And how long does that take?
It varies. Usually we try to schedule it. I think it's like an hour in between each truck, because that's how long it takes to pump. But we are able to like control the timing. When we call for all those batches, we have like 4 reserved. So usually it depends on the logistics of it. But like let's say you have 4 trucks, usually the first truck comes on the 3rd trip. So he's able to, he has enough time to go to the plant, get filled up, come back, or they'll just send someone else depending on the traffic. We try to pour on days that there isn't any traffic, but like Saturday was pretty disruptive right now. We just want to just pour as soon as possible.
Probably as early as possible.
Early as possible, correct.
Yeah.
It depends. Sometimes, especially like on areas times when there's like high demands, usually the pump people that we have, they have like, hey, sorry, we have a very small slab we're going to pour in the morning. Right after that, we're going to come to you. So.
And then and from the batch plant to here, they have about 45 minutes to get here.
Usually, they try to keep it in that, because the concrete's mixing. You want to, as soon as it leaves the plant, they start mixing it, and you have like about 45 to an hour.
Gotcha.
To get here, and then they just release it. That day we have a full crew here to manage all the hose. The actual guy with the pump has a remote control that controls the speed of how the pump is shooting out from the front of the street, and he's usually the one coordinating and pouring everything. And then we have concrete finishers just helping out with the pour, and then once everything's fully poured, they let it settle, and then they start finishing everything up.
And then just like the formwork, I assume is also a labor-intensive operation, because you have to pour, and then you have to vibrate.
Correct.
And how many guys does it take?
It depends. So we have, usually it's 1 finisher per truck. That's kind of how we have to analyze it, because right now the finishing is just going to be the slab. It was just footing, but we probably would have 1 finisher. But since we have, for this one, we probably have 2 or 3 finishers. Just doing the finishing. Plus, on our end, we're going to have guys pulling all the hoses and traffic control if need be. But we have a full crew here just to make sure everything goes right direction.
And of course, the designers, in this case us, we decided to do what we call the poor man's terrazzo finish.
Correct.
So we're going to basically pour the concrete, and then afterwards we'll have a grinder who come in.
So what I was telling Howard earlier today is that we usually try to do that at the tail end of the project.
Yeah.
Because concrete always cracks, no matter what. Even
Absolutely.
if you could prep it as good as you want, it's always going to have these micro cracks. So usually by the time we add weight to the whole building, we have drywall up, it shifts a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Right before we put the baseboard on is when we grind everything out.
Yeah.
So they'll bring huge machines, they'll grind it down in between an 1/8 and a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
then they'll fill in every nick and cranny of any micro cracks or anything, and then they add a sealer to it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love the photo that you shared with us.
Correct.
I mean, that one seemed like it took a little bit less off because there's less aggregates revealed.
So, yeah, correct. So I think that one just it was like an 8.
Yeah, and that's just normal concrete color because it seemed dark in the
Yes, it's
photo.
normal. But we added a very matte sealer, so you can play
And
with
that
it.
changed the color,
Yes,
darkened it.
you can either darken. Yeah, you can
Oh,
darken it.
I really like that.
It looks better.
And then, so on our last job in Larchmont, I think the contract, it was just taking meals off. But the guys doing the work, they just said, nah, they just went all out because they went by feel. And so in some spots, they took off up to a quarter.
Right. It probably like we try to get it as level as possible.
Yeah.
And the finishers try their best. Like obviously, our forms are level and stuff, but when they're actually doing the finishes, you might get some slight little deviations with like baby dips. It's honestly normal.
Yeah.
There's nothing much.
Yeah.
Nothing really you can do. But when they do the grinding, they kind of get a feel with the big because they're huge machines.
I know.
They're really heavy. I think they take like 240 volts. They connect directly to the panel. And they grind it out.
Oh, I have to come back and see that. I've never seen them do it because it's so messy.
And their mask on.
Yeah, I forget the type of the grit that they use on our last job, but
it varies. It varies depending on the finish that you want. But they have like huge blades that they place on.
Are these guys good? Do they have like that touch, like when they the finish? Yeah.
We were there. I mean, it just depends. We've done this like 5 times, and between those 5 times, in like 3 different companies.
Got it.
But we haven't. I mean, once you know, I mean, they know.
They know. Yeah. No, that's great. Now, I really like that photo that you sent, the darker color, because I think the pea gravel that we put out here, it'll be a lighter. And I like it. It wasn't so busy.
What I was telling Howard is that you can also like, at a different price point, you can also add color to the concrete.
Yeah. No.
Straight from the plant.
No.
Yeah.
I think that sealer will do the trick. We can play with the value, but not so much the color, because I've seen a lot of concrete when I was living out in like Phoenix, and they do these kind of stains, try to make it look more artisanal, and then what it end up looking like is just an applique. I think concrete, we like to inform clients that it's gonna crack, as long as it doesn't allow moisture or water to come in or structural, it's okay. It's a good thing.
Correct.
And that's just the beauty of it. It's a natural, it's not like adding a wood floor or adding carpet.
It's breathable. People don't know it's concrete. It's breathable.
It's a living thing.
It's a porous material.
Yeah. But it's ultra durable. So we're gonna do it for sweet ADU here. So exciting. And how long did